them as terrorists before knowing the second step. I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate.
It's obvious that that's what you are doing. Because this government has, in the past few months, gone out of its way to defend the reason why they cannot be called terrorists, including some people in-house who are so sure it will not change the narrative or the reality on ground. But you and I know that by designating them as terrorists, there are certain things that can be done within the Geneva Convention that are not allowed to be done if they are just bandits. And that's the reality that we face today. But having said that, I think we've been here before, and that to me is the tragedy. We know that whenever they clear the bandits out of a particular area, they move to another area. And once they clear them out of that area, they move to another area. And if they clear out of the state, they move to another state. So it's been a recurring theme in the last few years. And that's why the statement by the presidency seems to me like a jaded statement. Because we've had it before, and all we require from this government is to solve this problem.
If we are restricted from using the super tucanos that we have, that's 12 of that we just purchased, if we are restricted from using it on bandits, that is exclusively for the war on the northeast, that it cannot come to the northwest to come and fight this thing. Yes. Now, and we know that, look, the game changer for this war is the air advantage. Yeah. And if we have not started deploying those things against these bandits, don't you think it's part of why these bandits are waxing stronger, getting more people every day and recruiting more, and the whole region is like an infiltration of bandits?
Yeah, the unfortunate situation in Zamfara State is complex, It's about banditry, it's also about illegal gold mining, it's also about cattle rustling, it's about battle between political godfathers, So, in the middle are the unfortunate people of Zamfara State, whose lives are being cut short. And it's unfortunate, you see, that President Muhammadu Buhari, when he came in 2015, May 29, 2015, one of the first theaters of conflict he visited was Zamfara State. If you remember that photograph in which he appeared in a military camouflage because of the conflict over cattle rustling and all of that, Now, and he made statements clearly indicating that he will use military might to restore peace to that place. There was enough time to have prevented the situation from degenerating to what it is today. But between then and now, the illegal gold mining has now made it possible for all manner of criminals to have access to cash and, weapons. Because we know that West Africa is one of the, theaters of easy flow of small arms. So, for criminals, they find it easy to get arms, within West Africa and the Sahel region, up north. A lot of ungoverned spaces. So weapons and all kinds of things can move freely. Now, the air power you talked about, yes, it's very important. But like, the former, I think, ADC to former military president Ibrahim Babangida said, Abubakar Omar, he said he expected that President Muhammadu Buhari would have deployed thick columns of soldiers with tanks to surround those, to mop up, or to clear these places.
That's infantry stroke artillery.
Yes, you have the air power, but on ground, sustained bombardment, sustained firepower, such that you would not even give room for negotiation or politics. You will clear them so that as they're fleeing, just like what is happening in Borno State, as you are bombarding them, as they're fleeing, the air, from the air, the Tucanos and other fighter jets are cutting them to pieces so that they won't even have any chance to regroup. And that is what is missing. And then the other thing that is missing is this. These areas, I thought by now, the President would have set up some maybe super camps, like was done in Borno. Just take the template in Borno. Maybe develop, set up super camps or some brigades around those areas. Populate those areas with soldiers, with equipment, military equipment, with tanks, mortar, everything, so that you take over those areas from the bandits. Follow them into the forest, just like Erufai said, follow them into the forest and cut them to pieces. You will find out that, you see, we will regain our pride. If we cannot deal with ragtag bandits, how can we claim that we are a leading member of, of the African continent? We must regain that ground battle. It's very important. The ground aspect of the battle, we must fight it and fight it decisively.
Okay. A lot of people will say we are still dealing with the symptoms. If you are talking about fighting them back and everything, and I saw a visual now, and I saw young children, the number of out of school children in the northwest and northeast combined together, and you can imagine in the entire country, I'm sure it's going to be one of the highest in the world. Yeah. For you to look the number of out of school children.
This is definitely the poverty capital of.
Yeah, these people started out as what they call amajuris, and right now you have a lot of young men, young women, especially men, that they don't have any source of livelihood. Boys turning to men, and at the end of the day, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very easy to lure them into banditry. So if you go to major camps now, you discover that predominantly they're young men.
Yeah, even their leaders are in their 20s, if you remember. I think what we need to do is the fact that we keep, like you said, keep treating the symptoms and leaving the main disease to fester. And that to me is the tragedy we faced in the last 5 to 6 years. Because just like in Borno, just like in Yobe, we will move in, we will defeat the enemy, because we don't have enough manpower to
recruit more of our boys, give them loans.
We'll give them money. And then, don't forget that even recently, there was this story about somebody supplying them with women for them to relax, as it were, after every bout of banditry. So they have the girls to bring to them. And we all know this is happening because bandits do not live in isolation of the society. They buy fuel, they buy food.
Yeah.
They
get their supplies.
And something, and we thought at a time, you remember, early last year, when they cut off the logistics, especially in Katsina and parts of, we understand that this will happen. But we keep missing the key element that is holding on to positions we have deliberately done well in. It's a problem we face. Anytime we win a particular battle, we don't have the resources to hold on to it. And so these people will go back, recuperate, and come back. And we start all over again. It's a vicious circle.
Now, Emeka, you now look at them and you now feel like, look, the process of getting these guys, it's something that when you go to some areas in Nigeria, you discover that you don't see any sign of governance.
Governed spaces, yeah.
You just see that.
He lives in Ogun State. He's an expert.
No, I will go say, I know you. They're talking about Ogun State. We're not talking about anywhere close to Ogun State. They're talking about even, they don't have access to electricity. They don't have access to pipe water.
They don't have access. Even basic human existence is not there.
Yes, even access road to get to those communities.
Part of the problem.
They have to travel 4-5 hours.
It's part of the
before
problem.
They can get any health infrastructure.
Yeah, it's part of the problem. And I think one governor who has really shown understanding of what it takes to really get the people to buy into government, people in conflict territories.
Where I'm trying to line is that at the end of the day, these people become sympathetic to whoever comes, whoever approaches.
They don't even have a choice. In many cases, they don't have a choice because, you see, it's about the human instinct. The average human being wants to eat. He wants to have somewhere to lay his head. He wants to have something he can do with his hands.
And he wants to be safe.
if the government, if governmental presence is not
they don't show up on time, you hardly see them.
Of course, they will. You mentioned some local government that you said had been at peace for 2 years. And you wonder, the peace is actually the peace of the graveyard, because they've been in agreement with these criminals to say, okay, you'll be paying us tribute. We won't attack you.
That's the fruit of the trip.
Now, that is the
Those
peace.
guys are already paying.
That's the peace. That's why you see, governance in the 21st century we must govern the people properly. Don't leave certain areas undeveloped. Just open, because criminals will always find abandoned spaces to inhabit. Let governance get to the farthest. Look at how long the North has been in power. Like people argue. But the poverty in that side is palpable. It's so much. It's really, really painful. So the thing is that beyond just the military side of the battle, you have the psychological side, you have the socio-economic part of the battle. You must get the people to become a part of society. Governor Zulum of Borno has really shown understanding in that area, trying to close down IDP camps and trying to get the people back. And I think with the recent, sustained bombardments of ISWAP, killings of their commanders and all that by the Nigerian military, for which I commend them, I believe that that very soon, definitely more people of Borno, will be able to return to their communities and resume their normal lives. But you see, it's not just to return them to their communities. You should follow them up with all the things that are necessary: hospitals, schools, roads, and markets. Economic activities should return to those areas so that those people, and then again, you should put police stations, military formations around these places so that there will be a sense of security. No. What does it take? What does it take to recruit?
To put all these things in place.
No. You see, the Buhari government said it will be recruiting 10,000 people into the Nigerian police, right? And nothing stops you from also recruiting a similar or more, numbers into the military, just to make sure the country is secured.
Well, the reality we face is that this is the failure of governance. To me, it's the failure of governance at the local government level.
Yeah.
Because all over the world, things that we're asking for are things that are provided by councils in most other countries. And in Nigeria, we've so bastardized the local government system that they're only government in name only. Every other thing that they do, they have to take permission
End of the month.
from the state. They only pay salaries.
End of the month.
Don't forget the Babangida reforms of local government was meant to achieve what Emeka just said, by making sure that primary schools are tied to local governments and they are paid by local governments, and that certain elements in the health sector are also tied to this level of government. All these are failures that we see across the board. And to me, until we go back to empowering local governments, this poverty thing will start spreading faster than we think.
Even to other areas. Even to other areas. You can see what's going on.
If Buhari wants any legacy in his name, apart from insecurity, it is to make sure that the reforms in the local government works.
Are achieved. Absolutely.
Because we are looking at not just the military option,
Yes.
solving this problem.
Yes.
That's ultimately to sustain peace.
Yes.
If you have education, you have employment and you create jobs for these people, they have things they are doing temporarily.
Yeah.
They will not fall into the prey of 5,000.
You could even find that among the so-called bandits are people you can easily woo, back to normal lives. There are those you can, talk to, you can de-radicalize. Then I just want to quickly look at the military side of it. You see, in recent times, the Nigerian army seems to have changed, the type of weaponry is deploying in this, war, such that it is sort of rapid fire. Destructive, things, weapons that can really, that can really take out enemy positions rapidly. I think, there have been reports, in such changes. So it shows that even the military is really listening to public opinion. The military is also reconsidering his options. The military is re-strategizing, looking at different ways through which he can deal with this problem. You may not totally eradicate it. There may still be pockets of banditry, but at least President Muhammad Buhari should break the backbone of this criminality. It just got to end. There's nothing to just allow it to continue at all.
If you're still with us, we're still looking at the intra-party crisis within the All Progressive Congress in Imo State, and we've been watching that state since 1999, from the days of Governor Achike Udewa to Emeka Ihedioha to Rochas Okorocha. Ikedi Joachim spent one time that Ikedi Joachim to Rochas Okorocha. After Rochas Okorocha, a short sprint by former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives,
Emeka 7 months.
And 10 months, and coming to Hope Uzodinma. A lot of people will say that, look, that they've not been able to see the development witnessed during the days of Governor Sam Mbakwe in that state, that the state has not been working at optimal speed. So we have Uche Nwosu from our Abuja studio. Thank you for joining us. The former governorship candidate of the Action Alliance. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you, Ayo, and your colleague in the studio. Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year to you too. I saw you on that Sunday. At the point in time, somebody was recording from outside. At the point in time, I now saw you in the vehicle. You were wearing only your singlet. The arrest sparked a lot of outrage and a lot of reaction and everything that did not justify the reason for the arrests. But you were accused of being a sponsor of banditry, kidnapping across Imo State. If you want to be the governor of Imo State, can you reconcile this?
I think I've listened to you guys at the studio right there in Lagos, and you remember very well when Hope Uzodinma was sworn in as the governor of Imo State. Owele Rochas Okorocha was at the Hero Square, and I visited him in Government House, and we gave all that we have to support him. But what we are talking about now is live. And what happened on the 26th was a sacrilege and an abomination. If the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, does not have respect for my late mom, when I'm still mourning my mom, when I'm still going through the burial rites, at least you have respect for the Church of Christ, for the altar of God. This man, on the directive of the governor through the chief principal security officer, came right inside church, dragged me out, shot, tore my clothes, dragged me like a common criminal, and threw me inside a waiting van. My problem is not the modus operandi, but my problem is that all this happened without police invitation or search warrant. These men came with their face hooded, covered, almost 20 of them, entered inside church.
You've actually been kidnapped.
And then took me. I was kidnapped. It was not arrest. I was kidnapped because when you look at the viral video that went on, thank God for my media guy, and thank God that none of these church members was killed. If the parish priest has to run away, all the women, all my guests that came from Abuja and Lagos had to run away from the church. And the issue is that these men came from the government house. They are not from police state command. They are security officers, security operative attached to Governor Hope Uzodinma, who sent these men to do this to me. It is not about police now. It's about those security men that is in his government house that came to do this to me. And they came and did this. My problem is that I have gone to several TV stations and I accepted to come here because until justice is served, before we can now know that all other things that is currently happening in Imo State, we don't have a problem with Hope Uzodinma. We don't have a problem with him. Owele Rochas Okorocha, my in-law, is somebody that loves peace. And if you remember very well, I have never come on television to accuse or to say any bad thing against the government of the state because we're all APC. But what happened is about life. What happened is what we consider a show of if I will call it desecration of the Church of God. He talked about the security situation in Imo State, that I and Owele Rocha Sokrocha, my father-in-law, have been accused of people forming the security situation, insecurity in Imo State. Let me shock you that those boys that went on viral this thing on the social media, they have confessed that they were brought in from Asaba to Rockview Hotel, opposite government house, and this chief principal security officer to Hope Uzodimma videoed them and told them to mention my name. He's there in the police headquarters. Everything is open, and asked them to mention my name. My name, the name of Owele Rocha Sokrocha, and the name of one Honorable Kinsley Luju, in order to indict us. That is not governance. You see, a lot of people are dying in Imo State. We should talk about how to secure the state and not using security apparatus to fight people you look as your political enemies. We are the same APC. I don't see the reason why the government of the state
2023 is very close.
Send security
is this in any way your arrest? Is this in any way close to the politics of 2023 in Imo State?
You should ask the governor, Hope Uzodimma. For me, 2023 is still far next year. So why should somebody come to humiliate me? And the worst is that they took my picture and asked me to remove my shirt, and even my shirt that was torn, they removed it, asked me to bring my hand inside the vehicle. This security operative from Government House, Imo State, handcuffed me and snapped my picture and sent it to that chief principal security officer to Governor Hope Uzodimma, and they sent it on social media. It's a humiliation. This is something that we should not allow to happen. And I'm happy with the IG, because until they find out the root cause of what happened in that church, all these killings and every other thing that is happening in Imo State will stop. What happened to me is because I'm Uche Nwosu. What if this happened to somebody who does not have anybody to speak for him on the street? Then
before you came on, we're talking about the security situation in Imo State. It's like a consensus that in the entire southeast now, the source of concern and source of worry is that Imo State. We've never had it this bad, and we feel that the governor has been saying that, look, beyond ESN, beyond every other factor, that most of the insecurity is being sponsored by his political enemies. He's always insinuating that. And I feel as stakeholders in Imo State, you guys should be concerned about the level of insecurity in Imo State. I'm sure it's going to even affect the number of people that actually went home for the Yuletide celebration.
You know, when you talk about insecurity in the state, you know, Owele Rocha Sokrocha was the governor for 8 years, and I was the chief of staff for 4 years. And it was easy. It was easy. You don't cause insecurity and tag your political opponent they are the cause of the insecurity. If you know me very well, I've lived my life as a very gentleman. Owele Rocha Sokrocha, my father-in-law, has lived his life as a peacemaker across the country. He was the governor for 8 years. All this never happened. The thing is that, you know, I heard you say in the studio that the governor needs to tell himself the truth. Stop mentioning politicians, or stop mentioning Uche Nwosu or Owele Rocha Sokrocha. We are not the cause of your problem. Your problem is that you have refused to understand that. Is your
father-in-law doing anything to undermine his administration as the executive governor of Imo State? As in, after he left, he's a senator now. How? Yes, but has he been doing?
How? Owele Rocha Sokrocha has been away for almost a year plus. He has not been to Imo State. Let him tell us why Owele Rocha Sokrocha has undermined his administration. You remember what still Chief Hope Uzodimma did to Owele Rocha Sokrocha at a Royal Spring Palm, and one of my co-in-law was shot. This young man cannot walk freely again because of this same chief security officer to governor who shot this guy on the leg, and they shot this guy. The same people came to church again to abduct me. If not that, what social media, the power of social media, it would have been a case of Uche Nwosu is nowhere to be found. So we don't have any problem with Hope Uzodinma. Rather, Hope Uzodinma is the person that is looking for our problem. So when you talk about the insecurity and Owele Rochas Okorocha looking for his problem, it's not true. It is not true. The killings in Imo State is not what people should accept to happen.
I saw a photograph of you and Emeka Ihedioha, the former governor, you know, some days before this incident happened, and something jumped into my mind that there might be some adverse reaction. Do you think that meeting could have sparked off your abduction from the church? And then secondly, there are these accusations that your in-law messed up Imo State, so to speak, and he doesn't want to allow Governor Hope Uzodinma to rebuild Imo State. How do you respond to this?
Okay, the former governor of Imo State, Chief Emeka Ihedioha, came for my mother's burial. You know, when you talk about burial, politics aside, do you know that I also invited the governor of Imo State? I wrote him. Among all the five Southeast governor, is only the governor that refused to reply or even refused to write a condolence. And he directed that none of his appointees should come for my mother's burial. Even the house members that came, they were suspended. 3 house members that came for my mother's burial, they were suspended because they came for my mother's burial. Hope Emeka Ihedioha came because he values that when you have somebody that is mourning, who lost somebody, politics aside, we cannot do politics with dead body. And this young man came, and he was there, and to show you who Rochas is, Rochas danced with him, and this is Neman Rochas. He forgot Emeka, all what Emeka did to him. And he danced with him, and Emeka left. And again, one other question you just asked was that making Imo State ungovernable for Governor Hope Uzodinma, I don't think is true. If you know Imo State very well, go and ask down there in Imo State. Go to the street and ask them about Uche Nwosu, about Owele Rochas Okorocha. Owele Rochas Okorocha is one man that can even see a pin on somebody's body. I have never in my life done anything to remove blood from anybody's body. So when the issue of these Rochas, Uche Nwosu, is not true. They are all because we are all APC and we also.
What is next? Now that all this has been done and in the public space, what next? Are you going to go to court to clear your name? Are you going to ensure that such a thing does not happen to any more light again, ever? Are you just going to complain and let it go? What's the next step for you?
That's why I'm speaking out, because it is me, Uche Nwosu, former Chief of Staff and former Commissioner for Land. What of if it is not me? I'm happy the IG of police is doing a wonderful work. I also want to draw the attention of the leader of our party, who is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm of the APC. Owele Rochas Okorocha of his APC. Hope Uzodinma is of APC. At this point, I beg on Mr. President to look into what is happening in Imo State. It has gone out of his politics. This is not politics. If this can happen to me inside church when I'm mourning my mom, then what happened to ordinary citizens who do not have anybody to speak for them? For me, I wait for the IG because I believe in him. I believe that the IG never directed or sent those people that came to church to discredit the house of God. So once the IG finishes his report, then we'll take it there. But I believe the IG of police will do a wonderful job.
Yeah, there is this belief that you are a grassroots mobilizer, that you are very popular with the youths. That's why there have been accusations that you have a hand. You know, you have been accused. It's been alleged that you have a hand in the insecurity in Imo State, that you are very popular with the youths. How do you react to that? Because that is, that keeps popping up everywhere. They keep saying it's your boys here and there, it's your boys, your mobilizers, who are out there causing problems.
You know, when I hear some of these stories that I am very popular with the young people, with the youths in Imo State, it is not my making. My few time in government, I used my office very well, and I used it to empower thousands of youths in Imo State, and that I empowered thousands of youths and brought them out of streets and made them somebody in the society. How does that relate to me causing trouble with the Imo youths? Imo youth knows where they belong to, and they know who is there for their own betterment. It's not the issue of Uche Nwosu. You have a lot of grassroots support. Yes, I have a lot of grassroots support, but I did this based that I want to help these young people grow up and then be something in the society. You can't be in government and you talk about yourself alone. If you
thank you.
You cannot walk on the streets of Owerri, that means you are staying in government is meaningless to the society. So for me, I will continue to help the young people in Imo State. I will continue to empower the young people in Imo State, and I will continue to empower the young people in Nigeria. That is my calling, and I will not stop doing that because of me saying that you empower the youths, because you empower them. They are the people causing trouble in Imo State. They are not the cause of Nigeria.
Please, Uche Nwosu,
so the Imo youths
thank
are
you.
peaceful.
This is like a season film. I'm sure 2022 will unravel so many things, and when Prince Uche Nwosu will declare his intention to run for that governorship seat, we unravel so many things before we get to the 2023 election. But this is not the end of it all. We promise to keep our viewers updated about developments in Imo State. I want to thank you, Prince Uche Nwosu, for your contribution on Journalist Hangout today. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. There's something fresh in political firmament. I'll tell you about it when we It's unarguably the biggest platform for journalists in the country, Journalistic Hangout. We're reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. And Nigeria's general election may just be a little over 12 months away, but analysts are of the view that events shaping the polity at the party level are signs of the drama that lies ahead. The ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, is having a dose of it already. The APC has issued a revised timetable to schedule of the activities of Ekiti State governorship election. According to the statement by the Secretary of APC, Caretaker and Committee and Convention Planning Committee, John Akpan, the primary election earlier slated for the 22nd of January has been shifted to the 27th of January. And before we go into that, gentlemen, the breaking news is that the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has just declared his intention to run for the presidency of the country, and he has gone to the villa to inform Mr. President. This took place a while ago as he went to go and consult with President Muhammadu Buhari. He spoke with State House correspondent, and he told them categorically that he came to inform President Muhammadu Buhari that he's running as an aspirant of the All Progressive Congress, and hopefully that he will like to run for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He said he is still consulting across the country, that he has not formally declared his intention to run, but he has just gone to the villa as a kind of courtesy to, let's deal with that. GKB.
Yeah, the genie is out of the bottle, and this effectively marked the beginning.
So it's not a subject of speculation again.
It marks the beginning of the electionary campaign for who's going to become the next president of Nigeria.
It's such a very short time. When you look at it,
we have only 12 months. It's February.
Do we have 12 months? No.
It's February. For the election itself.
Yeah, the election itself.
You know, political activities will start February, March. It's just this election. Once the president signs the amended electoral act,
What?
That's the end of governance.
2023 will just be in front of you, right on the table. So we don't even have
because all the campaigns.
So the advantage of this declaration or courtesy visit to the president to inform him of his intention to run, with such a long-winded description, is the fact that the electoral season has begun. What I'm glad about is the fact that we stop hearing all those nonsense about somebody stepping down for somebody or somebody not doing enough to somebody. Now the man has said, I'm doing it. So whatever attack you want to bring, whatever things you think you have in There's something you think you've kept somewhere to use, please go ahead and bring it now. That's the key to what we've done.
So we just seen somebody that's two-time governor of Lagos State and two-time governor of Lagos State, and he went ahead to be a kind of rallying point for the opposition. Back-to-back 16 years when the People's Democratic Party held sway. He was the think tank of the opposition, and he brought the opposition together in that historic win of 2015 to make sure that we coordinated the activities of the opposition till they got to Basso Rock in 2015. And after 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying that, look, I have everything it takes to become the president of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy at least somebody of the caliber of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has come out early in the day to declare his intention. It's good. It's good for the political process, so that at least the activities will now warm up, and then that will also nudge President Muhammadu Buhari to sign this electoral amendment, because it's slowing down a lot of things. There are a lot of unconcluded activities. INEC has not concluded the voter register. INEC has not produced a clean, updated voter register. A lot of things are there, and then you see, it is only a naive person that will underestimate Asiwaju Tinubu. That will underestimate him. I mean, he's somebody who, has the adequate political pedigree to run for president, even to be president. But you see, there are other heavyweights that are being expected to come out, and we know that the next few months we see a lot of horse trading, intrigues, and all kinds of dirty things are going to come out, from all angles. But if already things are coming out about Jonathan, all kinds of photographs and unimaginable things that people are even blaming people for. But the good thing is that, see, that is the beauty of democracy. Politics, when the heavyweights come out, then you see big people now begin to talk, and it's a good season. It will also be a good season for the media,
of everybody.
for everybody.
So the boldness, to come out, and this is like the how do you call it?
The genie is out of the bottle.
So now everybody, if you're interested, can now come out from even other political parties.
The Southeast are saying is their turn to produce president will now be more serious if it is really interested in producing president.
And then we must also put this within the context of the fact that PDP is looking more and more to have a northern candidate.
Yeah.
So maybe tomorrow you guys can work on that.
Let's go back to Ekiti State now. That
by 1 week.
Implication of shifting these primaries. I remember exactly 4 years ago, like this. It's always a very difficult assignment to conduct election in Ekiti State.
No matter how small.
No matter how small. That state, there's no how. It's always keenly contested.
Even the primaries 4 years ago was also
the first primary they had, along the line, they started the election, it was brushed.
Yeah, but somebody came on and just grabbed the thing.
People just came to, scatter the ballot boxes, and Governor Almo Makura, the former governor of Nasarawa State, yes, he was forced to actually, cancel the exercise, and they had to choose another date. Now as at that time we had, is it 27 candidates? 27 aspirants. I've forgotten the number of aspirants they had. But this time around, I don't think they are they're not up to 27. But one thing that is there is that we know that the southern senatorial district of the states, they're agitating that, look, they've never been given the opportunity to actually
be the governor.
That senatorial district, that is how it has always been something from the central, and of recent, Dr. Kayode Fayemi is from Ishon Ekiti. Ishon Ekiti is from the north. The north. And if Kayode Fayemi has done his 8 years, it might not be back to back. But along the line, Ayo Fayose came back. Ayo Fayose is from Afao, that's central. And Adeni Adebayo is from Inye. That's still central. So the people of the Southern Senatorial District, they're now saying that, look, this is a big factor. It is time. Now we have the former Speaker, Bafem, is coming out. We have Honorable Fakparusi, my friend, is coming out. And
Senator.
We have Senator Okoyemi Bamidele, one-time Commissioner for Sports in Lagos State,
House of Reps.
One-time Commissioner for Information in Lagos State, House of
one-time Youth and Sports
in Lagos, and a party man, renowned party man, is coming out. He's a senator representing Ekiti Central right now.
Yeah.
So
it's from.
What do you make of these primaries?
Well, on a lighter note, mentioning Ekiti and calling North, South, and Central is funny, because you can cover the entire state in less than 3 hours. That's how compact, and they are the same.
And everything ends with Ekiti.
They are the same. Apart from one, no, there's a Aramoko. There's a town that doesn't bear Ekiti. Everybody is Ekiti. So that's why it's ironic that when I hear Ekiti South, Ekiti North, I just thought that's for political reasons, because they are basically one people. Yeah, it's going to be interesting for 2 reasons. One, we are coming to the end of the Fayose era in Ekiti politics, and it's time for a new beginning. And I'm sure whoever is coming to govern Ekiti now will have had a template that is working. That's what I'm happy about. I was in Ekiti a couple of weeks ago, and I can see the tremendous improvements in infrastructure that's going on. But that's an aside. 1 week is a long time in politics. So whoever thinks is a front runner for the 20th may end up being something else by the time we come around to the 27th. Because within that 1 week, there will be a lot of give and take. A lot of people will drop out. A new person will even come in within the context of the reality of it. And then, but my thing is this: as far as there is no violence and the best man won, I don't mind how many times they postpone it, as long as that happened.
Now, the intrigue there is that before now, it has been said, although I'm yet to confirm from Dr. Kayode Fayemi himself, but I know his structure, his government, the people in his government right now, they are working towards the success of the SSG. They call them Bao, to take over from Governor Kayode Fayemi. And a lot of people are saying that good candidates and everything, that the governor will be able to use the party structure to deploy the party structure on this. And a lot of other party men, they are saying that, look, let them give us a level playing field.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for a newcomer to upstage somebody like, for instance, Okwemi, to upstage some of those people. It's going to be a keen contest, even with the governor's support and all of that. And some of those people might spring a surprise.
I think we have to just leave it there. I think we just have to leave it there. Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. Osiare Kayode Gani Balogun.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for them.